is the whole tinfoil conspiracy thing just in Vilcabamba, or is it all of Ecuador? Also, are these tinfoil people the Ecuadorian natives, or are they expats?
Studied the Ecuadorian constitution, that it has very similar attributes about the individual's freedom to travel, to conduct commerce, to have access to education, to freely trade. Any medical procedures that's forced on people would be anti-constitutional or unconstitutional.
Is the incoming government friendly to expats? What community need is not fulfilled that a small business could step into? Okay, guys, new setup, Ecuador Insider Podcast. Welcome back. Carl has a phone on his face. He's happy about that part. However, the battery of his phone is at 22%, and his phone is not an iPhone. His phone is something else. And he's worried that it may shut off prior to the end of this pod, and we may lose Carl's face angle. His comment of which was, we're gonna get less views. So what do you think?
Carl's pretty, man.
He's pretty good looking.
He's pretty.
So tell us in the comments, how much do you like Carl's face? Are we gonna get less views? Do you want him to take his shirt off and flex, ladies? What do you think?
I'm excited to read the comments.
It's good motivation though, because you know you want to be on camera, so you're gonna make sure your battery's charged next time.
That's right.
That's right.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Welcome back. This is going to be a fun episode. So we're going to talk today. We're going to go through the comments and the questions. You guys have left us a lot of great comments, a lot of great questions from several weeks of podcasts that we've done. Some of them are answered on YouTube. Some of them are not. We do eventually get to all of everybody's comments and questions on YouTube. However, it does take us some time. Thank you for your patience. But we're going to get to that. It's going to be comical, in my opinion. We've been doing a lot of shorts, which has kind of opened up a new audience for us. And so we've gotten some sort of, like, those comments you see, right?
Oh,
like, we didn't
great.
used to get the comments you saw when you're on random YouTube channels that you're just kind of like, huh? We're getting those comments now. So this is going to be fun, and also some great questions. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like the video. If you appreciate or get any value out of this content, we would really appreciate a like on the video. Comment as well. Let us know, how do you like the cameras? How do you like the angles? Is the microphone loud enough? We do have new mics ordered, so it will get louder if it's not currently. And any tips or suggestions, any questions, please put those in the comments. Keep them rolling in. Subscribe to the channel. We bring you a ton of content on Ecuador. We live here in Vilcabamba, Ecuador, in the Southern Andes, and our goal here is to show you what life is like here in as many ways as we can. So thanks for tuning in.
Hey, before you jump into it, we've got you talked about shorts. We've got a lot of new viewers to the channel, so they might not even know who we are, and we didn't introduce anybody this time. So who are you, man?
Who am I? I'm Jesse.
Hi, Jesse.
Hi, Brandon. I'm Jesse. My name is Jesse Bayer. I'm the founder of Abundant Living Ecuador. I've been here since 2013. I've lived really only in this region. So Loja, Vilcabamba, Malacatos Valley. Relocated here with my 5-year-old daughter 10 years ago in 2013. Now I'm married to an Ecuadorian girl, have 2 more children.
An Ecuadorian girl.
All right. I'm building credibility here. Oh, gosh. So got married here in Ecuador, 2 more children, so I have 3 now, and live in the valley. Well done. Absolutely love it here. We run a real estate company. We do residential development projects, among other things, and that's I guess the intro.
Right on. Nice. And who are you?
I'm Carl.
Hi, Carl.
Hi, Brandon. Great to see you.
It's great to see you as well. It's always great to see you. Everybody tell them how great it is to see
Same
you.
here. Yeah, no, I'm Carl. From Canada originally, Quebec, French-Canadian. Lived here in Ecuador for 12 years. I'm married with 2 children. My wife's also Canadian. And both our kids were born here. We live here. We love it here. This is the place we want to be. Great place to raise kids. And also a partner here at Abundant Living Ecuador. And just loving life here in Ecuador.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And who are you, man?
I'm Brandon. I am also a partner here at Abundant Living. I've been down in Ecuador with my family for about 2 years, originally from Chicagoland area. I've got a 12-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old son, you'll probably see all of our kids in all the videos because they do so many cool things here in Ecuador, which has been one of the blessings for my family, is just to be outside and enjoy the nature and being part of all the different activities and extracurricular activities that Ecuador has to offer. So that's been pretty awesome.
Yep.
All right, guys, let's jump right into it. We got a comment from Bob. This is from Bob. I know Bob. His goes by Robert Ryerson. Great job, guys. Loja is great. Have you eaten at La Buena Pasta yet? Hope to stop in to see you guys, to see Jesse and you guys soon.
Jesse loves that restaurant,
Right.
by the way.
This is a controversial topic. This is a controversial topic.
Already.
So Carl brings our retreat participants
That's right.
against my better recommendations.
Oh, come on.
To La Buena. I can't say. Brandon's Italian. You get to help us in a minute.
You got it. It's good enough.
Bruschetta. In Loja, and it's an Italian place. It's decent. I think it's decent. I don't think it's great. I think it's good. Carl likes it better than I do. We have all eaten there. You can get pretty good Italian food in Loja, Ecuador.
We should go there. We should do a vlog.
I told Roberto that we'll go in and we'll schedule a visit. We'll do a vlog. Yeah.
Is Roberto the owner?
I don't know. He's the one asking about it.
oh, this Roberto.
Yeah.
All right.
No, but the food's really good, and actually they bring you this very delicious coffee liqueur before the meal, like the apero, right?
Yeah.
And they have lasagna, pasta. They have good salmon, Caesar salads. Actually,
There
it's
is-
very nice ambiance too. There's
No, it is.
Italian
It's very
music,
nice.
Andrea Bocelli, and
Yeah, the retreat participants liked it.
Everyone likes
everyone
it.
likes
No,
it.
I'm the curmudgeon.
yeah, he's a food snob.
Food's not.
like
Yeah.
up, you know,
Like,
like that.
thank you. It was a good
Like
noise.
that. Yeah.
No, Loja's interesting, right? So like I got to Loja in 2013, and like Loja was kind of a shithole in some ways, the way it looked, right? It wasn't a
remember.
pretty city back then, and over the last 10 years, it's turned into kind of a cool-looking, nice-looking, trendy place. And
True.
restaurants like that are now everywhere. You know, good-looking, sort of trendy-looking, nice-looking restaurants that have their sort of gimmick or their thing that they do. And Loja's like a really cool city now. I mean, I loved it then as well because it was just so safe and walkable and livable, and the culture's great, the people are great. It kind of operates like a small town, but it's actually now also pretty and has a lot of kind of it's got like pet grooming, pet hotels and like all that stuff. That there's a lady that makes wood oven pizza in Loja as well.
You get that often.
That's A+, man. It is A+ to have
What's it
that
called?
down
Like the
here.
last 4 times I've been with you, we
That-
tried to get it.
I know.
Is it called
It is
Roma?
never
It's
open.
never open. It's like La Catalina something.
Oh, okay.
No, we
But
got
yeah,
it
and
once.
she's
They were good.
yeah, and it's gotten better since then. She's thinking about opening in Vilcabamba. I'm pushing
cool.
for that. I'm pushing for that.
Cool.
All right.
I just want to jump in that when I first came to Ecuador, I remember the first day I arrived in Catamayo, but we actually drove through Loja, and I was like, whoa, this is awful place, right? And I remember the echo chamber in Vilcabamba at the time was like, don't go to Loja, Loja's bad. Just go there real quick and come back, Loja. And over time, I love going to Loja now. Loja's awesome, actually. It's beautiful. They did do a whole revamp of the city, so
Yeah.
it's much better than it was back then. But like you said, yeah, there's plenty of beautiful parks, and it's actually a very clean city.
Very
The streets are extremely clean. There's some walkable streets, a lot of small stores and boutiques, and it's a great spot.
It's one of the
museums
one
everywhere.
of the safest cities in the world.
Extremely safe. Yeah, people are nice.
It's got a very just like intact culture. People in Loja are polite. They're kind. They look out for one another. They know each other. They care about their reputations. They're very formal.
Yep.
It's just a great place.
No, it's awesome. No, I try to go once every couple of weeks minimum, but sometimes I end up going there once a week. How about you?
Yeah,
Same.
sure. All right, I like your conversations, but Ecuador Burns is total clickbait. This is in reference to a thumbnail that we did, and you have to help me understand. Also, if I use a plastic straw that didn't destroy the whole planet,
That's
drama.
Right.
You don't know what that's about?
No.
That was you, bro.
What did I say?
You're telling me to use a metal straw when we were at the coconut shop there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like the
Like
metal
you're,
straw. Look at
you're
that.
destroying the planet, bro.
Yes.
that got published.
That got published.
Hashtag Steel Straw Army.
I gotta
mean,
watch
that's
these
it,
videos
man.
that you send me.
That's it. It's good. And right, the thumbnails. What are they? What's the purpose of a thumbnail, Carl?
Someone to click on it.
Somebody to click on it. So it's bait to click on.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind
Well,
of.
technically, there was burning going on.
And
Yeah.
it was in Ecuador.
Yeah.
All right. What if you want to get out of the States, but you don't have savings for a house? Are there very nice apartments? I assume they mean to rent. Absolutely. So in our region, you can rent a great apartment for between about, I mean, if you're single and you just need something very simple, $150, $200, up to $400 or $500 for a very luxurious, very nice apartment. I mean, I guess you could spend more if really luxurious, if you want like a duplex with balconies and marble, and you could probably get up to $800, maybe even $1,000. But no one really spends more than $300 to $500 on an apartment. That's like a really nice apartment.
Yeah, exactly. No, right here in town you can get for anywhere between $300 and $500 a fully furnished apartment, 2-3 bedrooms, with all utilities included typically as well. At least the water and the electricity. Sometimes you have to pay internet separately, but and those are nice apartments actually. Very
And if you're looking for the city, Loja, like
Same.
that's I just kind of covered that market also in those prices.
So it might even be slightly cheaper actually. In the
and
city
way
of
more
Loja.
availability. Yeah.
True.
Y'all need to do a travel video and actually show us the roads, stores, houses, people, town, and so on. We've done some of that. We're gonna do more.
We're doing more. Some of there's one that's coming up. It might have come. You'll be there soon. You'll see a lot of the roads and the people and stores and etc.
All right, here's an interesting one. Travel to and from Ecuador is a looming issue as fall and winter flu season approaches the USA in particular. For those who will absolutely not receive the and all its variants, there is a looming issue. Airlines are being pressured to require a passport in order to fly to and from USA and Ecuador. For those who choose to not get the shot, there could be a very real issue traveling to and from both countries. If you own property in Ecuador and are a citizen of the USA with family there, the travel could be quite serious. I guess to here or anywhere else in the world, those kinds of things are possible. Luckily in Ecuador, so Ecuador, interesting kind of history on that stuff for those that care. Ecuador shut down early when we had all of this stuff going on with COVID and everything. Ecuador shut down early, opened up very early. There was sort of a brief period of time where things were basically shut down here. It was one of the first countries to open back up. It was one of the first countries to drop restrictions on travel. So it's been pretty good here in terms of those kinds of concerns. I suppose if you're someone who believes that there's an agenda to make travel more difficult or to require these things globally, well, that's going to be a global issue. Certainly not something that would affect Ecuador alone. And I think, like we've talked about many times on all these kinds of issues, there is always some power in Ecuador amongst the people. And eventually Ecuador tends to get it right, in my opinion, politically, on policy. They tend to find a place where they can kind of appease everyone to some degree, and they seem to find a middle ground on most things. So we'll see. And
to be honest, that most of these types of things, they're not in our control, right?
No.
So we can be prudent, we can be planful and mindful, but at the end of the day, you can't do anything about most of these types of things. So I know for me personally, I don't dwell on them any longer.
Yeah, and I've heard from a friend of a friend, acquaintance, like that in Ecuador it's a little easier to get, your passport if you're looking for that and whatnot. So I've heard some people do that. I don't know much about it, but anyways, if that makes you feel better, if you come here.
All right. Thanks for all the great info. I have a question. Is the whole tinfoil conspiracy thing just in Vilcabamba, or is it all of Ecuador? Also, are these tinfoil people the Ecuadorian natives, or are they expats? We have conspiracy people on both sides of us in the States, and that's what we are looking to escape from. It's hard to have a conversation when you can't agree on what is some of our friends are now too far down the rabbit hole. And it goes on, but I think that's probably enough. By the way, I just wanted to, on the last question, I just wanted to mention really quickly, those kinds of choices, and it's really to your point, but from my perspective, right, you need to decide where you would like to live and set up your life. And then beyond that, what's out of your control is out of your control. And if you care about issues like that in terms of the previous question, then what you're considering is like, does this place have the parameters, have the
attributes.
The attributes, yeah, but I was thinking of like the bones. Like, does it have, the stuff that I consider important to me if the future were to be this way or that way or another way? And for me, Ecuador is A+ for all of that kind of stuff. In terms of travel and all that, right, that's out of our control.
And that's why, I think that's probably why all of us are here. I know if I can speak for my family and I, that's one of the reasons we're here. The main reason is that the food, the water, the nature, the freedom, it's here in Ecuador in spades, and it's available to anybody at a reasonable price, a reasonable trade.
Yep.
So as long as and it's not, it's not for everybody. Ecuador's not for everybody.
No.
Like, I would take it a step further and say that Ecuador is not for most people.
Yep.
And people particularly people from the West in the States, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have a hard time dealing with Ecuador and what Ecuador has to offer, not because of Ecuador, but because of them and their expectations or their preconceived notions or their, how they're, brainwashed or what's the word? It's conditioned maybe.
Yeah.
Conditioned.
That's a good one.
Because it doesn't, most of that doesn't exist. So if you're used to just having that conditioning constantly, you're going to struggle with some things, and that's okay. Like, it's, but I just don't want us to think that Ecuador is for everybody, because it's not.
No.
It's not. It's really not. It's not for most people.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd like to answer the last question, and this is from my perspective, from my opinion. You guys might disagree, but Vilcabamba itself will tend to attract more of the types of people that this person is referring to, people that are more think outside the box, the people that are a little more on the alternative side, right? That's just generally the people that live here. Now, it doesn't mean everyone's like that here in this region, but I would say that most of the rest of Ecuador, Loja, Cuenca, the other larger expat communities, tend to attract more people that might be a little more on the mainstream spectrum. I hope that makes sense. The way I've explained it, but yeah. So I know there's huge expat community in Cuenca, Loja as well, and retirees and those types of conspiracies are not necessarily as popular in those areas. Right.
And conspiracies, like which conspiracies, right? Which
theories,
conspiracy theory? Aliens and UFOs were conspiracy theory for how long? And now, I mean, is it anymore? I don't.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, right? So is it true or not? Who knows, right? Well, I mean, it sounds like they exist.
Yeah, but if you're looking to get away from that, Vilcabamba would not be your place. I would say more so, if you're looking to be able to have more open conversations about your beliefs, Vilcabamba is the place for you, for sure. And to your point, I agree. Other places in the country, the expats are probably a little bit more traditional than you would, than Vilcabamba.
Yeah, and there's they asked about locals and expats. So again, it's how you define the conspiracy theory, because there's locals that'll talk to you about aliens and they'll talk to you about other conspiracy theories that are, it's not just expats that are doing that or having those experiences and sharing that perspective. So
yeah, but I would say overall, the expats are a little more on the alternative spectrum than the locals. Yeah, I mean, doesn't mean that the locals don't know about some of those things, but I think at least here, and that's from my experience, the expat population has influenced a little bit of the local culture from that standpoint, But
in Vilcabamba particularly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing screams safe to me like a nervous-looking white guy, which is me, flanked by beefy Ecuadorians, which is you guys, repeatedly assuring you how safe it is. Comments.
Dude, that comment literally made me laugh out loud.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have a good tan, bro. You don't look like a white guy. You look like...
Well, and you guys certainly don't look Ecuadorian.
I don't look Ecuadorian? I'm just kidding. I don't look very Ecuadorian. That's true. No. Nor do you.
No. You don't see a lot of beards.
There are not
in
a lot
this
of beards.
country,
That's
no.
true.
Right. The indigenous lack of facial hair.
And I
thing
think
going
they just
on.
even the indigenous they shave.
Well, they don't.
Very
They don't
significantly.
essentially
They
can't
don't
grow. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Not all.
Right.
Not everyone, but yeah, it's tends to be very sparse.
But you didn't look nervous in that video. I didn't think you seemed nervous at all.
Thank you. Yes, if we spent as much on our self-development as we have on our careers, it could actually even make retirement fun and more.
Amen.
I agree.
Yeah. Right on.
All right, I have a question. This is for you, Carl. What if you're an awakened man? Are there a lot of women there in Vilcabamba?
Well, I'm not awakened, and I'm also married and committed, so I can't answer that question right now.
Brandon, your thoughts?
If you're an awakened man, what was the question?
Awakened man.
If you're an awakened man, is there awakened women?
Are there a lot of women there? I assume it's inferred that would be a good match.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So I would, I mean, what's the size of Vilcabamba, guys? 8,000 people, 10,000, 7,000?
It's a big debate on that.
It's a small community, guys. So it's not a big, sprawling metropolis. It's a small community. A lot of people know everybody. So for Vilcabamba, if I was going to be objective, is there a fair amount of single awakened women? I would say yes. There certainly are a fair amount of single awakened
There are a lot of ultra spiritual women here.
That's a great way. Spiritual. There are, barefoot women.
Hashtag awaken with JP.
Oh gosh.
JP's great.
He's awesome. Yes, I would say most people here would describe themselves as being awakened, including the women. So there's a lot of awakened,
and there's a lot of
awakened
single
peeps
women.
So come on down.
Yeah. It's a good place.
It'll be easy, actually. Jesse said something about it today. Do you want to repeat what you said to me?
I don't know.
Oh, Jesus.
You don't remember what we said?
No.
Well, I'll just say it. I think you said something along
you
the lines.
Go ahead.
It wasn't bad at all.
Oh,
Right, yeah, probably
great,
not, right.
Great.
It was
very
like
politically correct.
being here as a single man. You'd have a lot of options, something along those lines.
It's a good place to be single. It is a
Good place to be single.
All right, let's do it. Let's see. This is good. This is what they call dead air on the radio.
Yeah, but look at the scenery you get to look at during dead air.
Just reading right now about 3 to 4 home invasions per week in Vilcabamba.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It was just another one just happened 10 minutes ago.
Right. Gosh, I guess got a buzz. Another one's happening at the moment.
No, not the case at all, guys. There was a little stretch of time, probably 6 months ago at this point or more, where there was some home. I don't know. I suck at time.
I think May was kind of the last bit, the tail end of it. May.
Okay, so this is end of September now. So, period a while ago, there was a rash of break-ins that took place.
There was a crew.
Oh, there was a crew that rolled through, which happens. Like that's happened in my 10 years. There's been 2 times, because the other one ended before I got here. Yeah, so there was 2 times in the 10 years that I've been here where there was a rash of robberies. Other than that, this place is so safe, it's absurd.
It's ridiculous. It's so hyperbolic. Like that kind of stuff. I mean, guys, everyone's favorite Christmas movie, Home Alone, was based on a rash of, home robberies by a crew running through a nice neighborhood in Chicago.
That was a documentary, wasn't it?
I mean, God, yeah, right? I mean, the stuff, it's so ridiculous. Yeah, it's a patently untrue comment.
Yeah, I mean, 3-4 times a week or whatever. No, probably the last robbery that we heard of was maybe 3 months ago or whatever.
Like, I mean, that's how small this place is.
Yeah.
That everybody knows about every single robbery. I mean,
right. Yeah, and there hasn't been anything since then actually at all. So 3-4 a week is definitely a
hyperbolic fear porn.
Right. But yeah. But then again, they do happen, and we have precautions. We have we have ways that we make our houses more secure. We know our neighbors. We have a dog. There's a few things you can do to prevent them. Yeah. But
those are the same things you do anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
All right.
Not a common occurrence at all.
At the risk of sparking a political debate, it's very hard to see America going down this way. It's the best ideology of government that was implemented by man that act based on the strategy of wisdom versus man who lost their spiritual strength and turned into man body strength. I do mean muscles that come out in any form of rule that suppress. All right, I'm not sure if I'm following this, but the point is that it's the best fundamental form of government. They agree with the founding fathers, and I assume the Constitution, and are not feeling happy with the current state of affairs. And I think
so, like institutional republic, that, or
I
like a
believe
social
so.
democracy. I mean, it's not really that.
Right.
What are we talking about? I don't even know what we're talking about.
Well, here's what I would say. I think that, yeah, from my perspective, we're going deep here, Carl. From my perspective, the U.S. Constitution is a beautiful document.
Sure.
Right. It's like a comes from God type document. The Bill of Rights, guaranteeing people's individual liberties, individual rights, unalienable right, and then massively limiting government down to like nothing, which of course none of that happened, right?
Perfect.
But that's a nice idea. We're all free to pursue our interests, and if we don't mess up with, we don't screw around with your interests, we'll be okay, and we have these rights, and that's lovely. But yes, that's certainly as a result of the what do they call it? The Interstate Trade Commerce Clause, Interstate Commerce Clause. They've now justified, massive interference in everything, and the state of the U.S. is what it is.
Yeah. So I would say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Hell yeah.
Amen. On that note, I was told by quite a few people who have read and studied the Ecuadorian Constitution that it has very similar attributes about the individual's freedom to travel, to conduct commerce, to have access to education, to freely trade, and a few other things.
Even healthcare, natural healthcare, indigenous medicine. It's in the Constitution.
Yeah, and force vaccinating, any medical procedures that's forced on people would be anti-constitutional or unconstitutional, anticonstitucional, unconstitutional. I corrected myself before you corrected me.
Yeah, well done.
So yeah, in the Ecuadorian Constitution. So I think there's a PDF online in English. Actually, you can read it for yourself if you're considering moving here.
We'll link it in the description below, guys.
All right, cool. And then we should probably read it too.
You gonna remember to do that? Is the incoming government friendly to expats? Well, there's never been a government here that hasn't been friendly to expats.
That's true.
This is one of the easiest countries in the world to immigrate to. Government politicians here do not run on anything having to do with expats. So they're not promising or not promising or talking about in any way expats, because there are, that it's not an issue here. It's a tiny
small percentage of the whole population.
Exactly. So, Ecuador has done a great job, in my opinion, over the last 5-6 years, sort of putting themselves on the map internationally. The government has sponsored international ad campaigns, marketing campaigns, because Ecuador is, this incredible country, right, where the cost of living is really low. There's it's near the equator, so there's very stable weather and climate. There's 4 distinct regions, like zones. So if you want coast, if you want Galapagos, if you want mountains, or you want Amazon, in this tiny little country, it has all of those.
And adventures everywhere. You can go snow-capped mountain hiking. You can go hiking in a volcano. You can go to the mountains here in the Podocarpus.
Go scuba diving.
You can go scuba diving. You can go into the Amazon jungle, into the rainforest. You can go whitewater rafting, horseback. I mean, there's adventures everywhere in all these different climates. That are all in the size of Colorado.
And it's welcoming and it's cheap. Yeah. And the people here are awesome. And anyway, so the government doesn't limit that in any way. They actually welcome both tourism and folks moving here, and I expect that to continue.
Yeah, and on that note, the Ecuadorian people in our area, and I would assume all around Ecuador, but what we're used to here is the Ecuadorian people are very happy and glad that there are expats that are relocating, moving here for the economy mostly, but creating jobs, creating employment, consuming local goods and services. And there's no animosity towards expats. We read comments all the time about that kind of stuff.
Right.
That just doesn't happen here. Right. The local people are.
It's cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, Vilcabamba actually has a dynamic economy because there's people from all over the world that live here, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Like
a blast.
the interplay between cultures is fun, and the sort of the way that all works here is amazing. And I'm actually like, I was thinking about this the other day because those kinds of things don't really occur to me. Of like, that's those kinds of questions that we get that are like worried about animosity. They're not really things that I think about, right? But I was kind of thinking the other day, it is kind of remarkable how non-judgmental and how welcoming to foreigners people are here. Like there isn't even a sniff of like that sort of like looking at you sideways energetically or visually or verbally or otherwise because you're not from here. I mean, like we have that back home.
Right.
You know, you roll into Boston from New York and they're like, you know, you're like an out of towner, right? And it's like that. It's like this place, people are just awesome.
Yeah. I mean, they go out of their way to involve expats, like in all the sports. Like, you know, our kids are playing on the soccer team, and they're like wanting, you know, they're highlighting the boys and, you know, wanting them to be part of it and make them feel included and going out of their way to talk to them and feel part of it. And it's awesome, man.
Yeah. Quick anecdote. The other day, Brandon and I went to this fair in Loja, and this group of young teenage girls wanted to take a picture with Brandon.
Nice.
Did you know about that?
I did not share.
They did. And so that can happen sometimes. I don't know if that's ever happened to you.
Well, Darnell, so
times.
my former business partner, my friend that I came here with, who's very dark-skinned. You know, he's Haitian background. He's very dark-skinned. People thought people took pictures with him everywhere we went. He was muscular. He was like well-built and dark-skinned, and they thought he was a soccer player.
Oh, really?
They thought he was this. They thought he was that. I mean, he's taking pictures. He took pictures all over the place. It was hilarious. Yeah.
That's funny.
When Fernando and I went to Saraguro, there was
Same.
people, same thing in the square. We went to Zumba.
We
went to remember we went to the little, what was that thing called?
The market.
The market. Yeah. We went inside and
I think that was us taking the pictures.
No, but they
were.
Yeah, but that will happen sometimes. They'll giggle when you walk by if you're an expat.
Yeah,
Right.
not here, but like
Not so much here.
in places
Here
where
they're
there
used to
aren't,
it, but in places where there aren't, exactly.
Yeah, no, you can still go down to Zumba and places like that and still be a not an anomaly. What's the word? Kind of like an anomaly, but
novelty.
Still, a novelty.
Yeah,
Thank you. That's the word. Still be a novelty. All right. How is Malacatos for safety? Curious how safe a woman living alone would be. I mean, Malacatos is as safe as any other town in this area, and these are all, you know, extremely safe towns. So, you know, crime is essentially not something people worry about here. Now, that being said, you want to take the normal precautions. So you mentioned this earlier, but you know, I wouldn't build like a $500,000 home and then leave it wide open with no security, right? You just have to do it the way people do it here, right? So there's a lot of money in Ecuador. There's a lot of money in Loja. Lojanos who have money, they all build second homes in this region, Malacatos, Vilcabamba, and they take some security measures, right? They usually put up a fence around. If it's a big fancy home, they put up a fence. They may have a dog, they may have a camera, you know, just the normal stuff like that. If you want to live like the local, you know, live like sort of more lower class, middle class, lower class, and
modest.
Modestly, that's the right word. If you want to live more modestly, you can worry much less. You know, you don't have to be as worried about your security. But yeah, in general, you don't have to worry much at all. I would, again, know your neighbors, have a dog, just keep, you know, have someone keeping an eye on the place if you're not there. Just the normal stuff.
Can we drive home a point on this? So, because we get this question a lot, guys. Because Ecuador makes news about some of this stuff, or there's Facebook groups or comments or whatever. There's echo chambers about this stuff, and it's fear-based. But, you know, all the things that you just shared, Jesse, on what to do, is there a place in the world that you wouldn't do that? Does that place exist?
No, and to your point, no, but it's like different what you would do, right?
Right,
a little bit, yeah.
But conceptually, is it? I mean, if you build a $500,000 house, would you leave it open? Would you not have a fence? Would you not have security? Would you not have a dog? Would you not? You know, you wouldn't do that stuff anywhere in the world. So a lot of this stuff, guys, is just common sense anywhere in the world. It's not really special because it's Ecuador. We do all these extra safety things. They're kind of common sense safety precautions that you take, that you're mindful of. You know your neighbors. You lock your doors. You have a dog. You have a gun sometime. You have a fence. I mean, you have a security system. You have cameras. I mean, every one of my family members or friends in the United States that live there today have all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's not, like, because that's just what you do. So in Ecuador, you do the same things. There's.
Yeah.
And most people here don't even do most
And they
of
don't
those
do
things
most of
in
that.
the rural
Right,
areas.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think that's a clear point that I wish we're not doing a good job explaining. So hopefully this helps a little bit.
Yeah.
I agree.
I just want to point out something too, that the media, so there was an incident that happened. The media picked it up, and it, like, Vilcabamba, Malacatos, those two towns were named. There was a home invasion, but it actually happened like closer to the city of Loja, really far up in the mountains, in an area where nobody lives, basically. So it's like more than an hour drive from here. I think it was like an hour and a half from here. Not in Malacatos and not in Vilcabamba, but the headlines had those two towns mentioned. So yeah, just maybe the question came from that perspective as well, because something did potentially take place in Malacatos, but it really wasn't. And like I said, it's an area where there's no neighbors for, I don't know, 5 miles or something from where it happened. So it was very targeted situation there. Malacatos overall is a very safe place, just like Vilcabamba is, just like Kinara, Yangana, and all the towns around
Like,
here.
you'll be shocked at how safe you feel in Ecuador, in southern Ecuador. Like, you'll be here for a while, and you'll start to realize, like, oh, I don't have to watch out for anything at all.
Right.
Like,
Oh, speaking of, this is a great anecdote, guys. So there's a restaurant in town called Natural Yogurt. So my daughter Bella was meeting, I think, Kirsten and Raina and some friends for dinner, and it was like on a Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday. She rode her bike to Natural Yogurt.
Oh, yeah.
She left she forgot, and this was at dusk, right? So it was 7:00, dusk. She forgot. She parked on the street, goes in, has dinner, leaves the restaurant, comes home, forgot that she had a bike. I didn't even know she took it. It was 2 days later. 2 days later, I'm like, "Where's your bike?" Oh, I forgot it at Natural Yogurt. I'm like, "Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Anywhere I've ever lived, the bike's gone. It was parked on the street
after 20
in the
minutes.
main road." 2 days later, she goes to town. I'm like starting to give her the business about responsibility and all this stuff. She goes to town. The owner of Natural Yogurt got the bike, brought it inside, and they had it inside waiting for her to get her bike back.
Yeah.
2 days later,
and
it was on the road in the middle of the
cell
night.
phones and purses and I did a test once years ago in Loja. This is a city. This is at that time, 250,000 person city. It's more now. Carl's and I thought he was going to charge his phone because he was
Right.
I did a test, right? So I had a pickup truck. The bed was open in the back, and I had like a machete, some boots, and a pair of sneakers, all nice new kind of stuff. I just left them there. I just wanted to see how long until I rode around the city for like 6 months, parked on the street in the city before they disappeared.
Yeah.
Somebody finally grabbed it. But yeah, I mean, thousands and thousands of people walked past the bed of that truck without just reaching in and grabbing what they want. All right, so without reading the whole question, the sort of main part of the question is, does Loja have an expat community that is welcoming and helpful? And also they want to know about is how the internet as well in Loja, and that's about it. So yeah, Loja has a small but helpful expat community. So it's not a large expat community in Loja yet. They're probably they're coming in larger numbers, but still tiny numbers. So not a ton of foreigners in Loja. However,
Carl had to get in camera. You're getting shot now.
Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't see me.
I'm gonna lose views.
You're in the You're in the
sorry.
global one.
All right.
Oh, okay.
You're not in the one now that you weren't in before.
That's okay. We'll get more views.
At least I can see the camera.
But you're not supposed to. You're supposed to.
I'm
be
sorry, I
talking
didn't mean to interrupt at all.
No, it's great. It's good.
Continue
It's
your
good.
point, Jesse.
Anyways, so yeah, but the foreigners in Loja are super helpful. There's hangout spots that they go to, and you'll have no problem, kind of doing that.
And the local Lojanos are helpful to foreigners.
Oh yeah, big time.
I mean, it's not just expats that are helpful. Like the locals, when I've been to Loja, are super helpful. If I need directions or I need to figure out where a store is or I forget which block I'm on, and they're super helpful, man.
Yep.
Like out of the way helpful.
Yep. And in terms of the internet's fantastic in Ecuador. It might be better in the States. It's got fiber optic now, is just about everywhere. And
Fiber optic
amazing.
To the mountain in the up a valley in the mountain. Fiber optic to your door.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
stable. It's fast.
High speed. Yeah.
How can I create a way to live in Vilcabamba, Loja for 6 to 7 months every year? Well, I don't know if you're referring to that financially or legally, but in terms of your visa, you can be here 6 months a year every year right now. So they have a 3 months. You can be here 3 months as a tourist every year, and then there's a 3-month extension that you can get every year. So you can be here up to 6 months every year. Financially, that's probably too long an answer for all of us.
And I think the extension is like, because we did it when we first moved, it was like 150 bucks or something. So it wasn't even detrimental.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, a lot of people definitely want to see that deep dive on the cost of living, which we will absolutely get to. Brandon, you want to clarify GMOs? This was a big debate. This was a big debate. So the comment is, no, my friends, GMO is not, and thank you for the comment, is not labeled in the U.S. nor Mexico.
Yeah. So guys, effective January 1st of 2022, the USDA required all food manufacturers to label on the packaging. They've changed the word. They call it bioengineered foods now. So bioengineered foods are what you would generally think of as genetically modified organisms. They're food that you wouldn't find in nature naturally, that it takes a lab to manipulate the ingredient. Those are now required to be labeled in the United States per the USDA. We could put a link in the comments below directly to the USDA to see that. But they're tricky. I worked in food manufacturing for a decade, one of the largest food manufacturers in the world. And there's, it's not straightforward on how the labeling works. It's intentionally confusing sometimes. So the bioengineered framework, there's a reason they don't call it genetically modified on the back when they're identifying what's genetically modified. They changed it to bioengineered, and this is speculation, because they know people don't talk that way. They talk about GMOs. On the front, it's GMO certified, GMO free, no GMOs. That's on the front of the label, but on the back, it doesn't say anything about GMO or genetically modified. It's now bioengineered, and they'll put it by ingredient. There's certain ingredients, if you use less of, they don't require the labeling, but they're all per the USDA, guys. Look on the back of all of your packaged food and look for that bioengineered word or wording using bioengineered for ingredients, and you're going to see, you'll probably be surprised how many of the ingredients on your favorite foods, even though they don't say genetically modified, actually are.
Love the Q&A. You all are wonderful. Just leave it there. No. Cost of living. We're going to cover that in detail. 2, is there a biological dentist in Vilcabamba or Loja? Is there a directory of holistic practitioners I can research? Initially, I will rent. I understand the shortage. Strategy on how to procure a rental. What community need is not fulfilled that small business could be, where a small business could be developed?
Sure.
Yeah. So in terms of the dentist, there is a holistic
dentist.
Dentist here in Vilcabamba.
Katia, she has her office in town. I've had some dental work done with her, really good. And she will use basically no chemicals except the anesthetic, right? Which is like, the anesthesia.
Novocaine, yeah.
She uses a lot of natural things like essential oils and coconut oil and other things like this.
Yeah, I've taken my children there for cleanings. We didn't have work, but cleanings. We saw the holistic dentist in town. There is a holistic dentist or a bio. What was the word that they used? There was a specific biological. Yeah. So I heard that there is a biological dentist in Loja. It's on my short list to go investigate, and I'll report back to you guys if we do. But I heard they do bioidentical materials in caps and crowns, and they do they have the proper equipment to extract mercury fillings to not allow the toxins and fillings back in your body. So that's what I've heard, but I haven't verified for myself yet.
Yeah, and then
No.
there is not a directory of holistic practitioners. We had put one together at some point. It's probably dated at this point.
We'll have one soon, though,
Yeah,
won't we,
we'll have
Jesse?
one soon.
I mean, we should update the one we have already. We have a good
we
one
should.
with the phone numbers and email addresses of
We'll have even
a
better.
lot of these guys.
We'll have even better than that soon, won't we?
Yeah.
We will.
Really?
You gonna talk? Would you like to?
Yeah, I'm trying to tee you up here, man. Teeing you up.
Yeah, so we have an awesome health retreat coming up. We've changed the dates for January, so that will be in January. That will be in February. you notice how I looked at you like...
February 24th to March 9th, guys. February 24th would be a health retreat. It's a Sacred Valley Health Retreat. It's our first health retreat that Abundant Living's putting on. We're excited about it because we've partnered with many of the health practitioners in the valley, world-renowned experts at the top of their field, from spiritual health, physical health, osteopaths, herbalists, acupuncturists, you name it. You run the gamut of healers and health practitioners in the valley. They've partnered with us to be part of this retreat for you guys. And what's really cool is we're in the process of developing a website where you'll have better than a database. You'll have bios, you'll have photos, you'll have videos, you'll have interviews with the practitioners, with references. You're going to be able to see all of that coming soon.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, so rentals. Yeah, I wouldn't say there's a shortage of rentals. The market's a little tight right now. You can still find rentals. In my opinion, the best strategy is, if you're looking for a rental, is to come, stay in an Airbnb or stay at Ishkailuma or one of the other hotels. Stay there for a month, 2 months while you look for a rental.
Yeah.
And check out options and find one you like. There isn't really a good centrally located place where you can identify rentals from distance, and even if you do, there might be quirks, there might be things that you don't like, and you might as well just come check it out first, and that would be my suggestion.
I mean, if we're going to name one spot for me, if you're coming here, you want a soft landing and you don't have an Airbnb or a founding apartment, Hosteria Ishkailuma is a nice landing spot. It's comfortable, it's well run. We host many of our retreats there already. The management there, Peter and crew, are phenomenal. So the food's good. They have a restaurant on site.
Yep.
It's a little bit further out of town. It's quiet, great views. The rooms are impeccable. So it's like a rustic chic kind of vibe, but really calming. That would be like my first choice, probably. I don't know. You guys,
Absolutely.
You guys have been to a bunch of other
I would
places.
definitely agree.
but-
I definitely agree. I mean, there's a few strategies though. Like one thing that I've heard people do, actually, they would rent a place on Airbnb for 3 days,
Yeah.
and then once they get here, you speak to the owner. If you like the place, they might be willing to give you, weekly or monthly rate, apart from Airbnb, that you can go directly with the landlord and save on cost for that. Also, we know about some rentals that are available at the office. So if you come down or if you reach out to us, we can ask some of our team members who know about some of the rentals, and it's not, we don't do that as a company, but sometimes we hear about certain places that are for rent, so we can help you with that. And I would say definitely come down and go check out some places. There's definitely, it's easier to find apartments in town as compared to a house in the countryside and whatnot. Like most of the houses are kind of taken. I would say there's new apartments being built in town, and there's more availability when it comes to rentals.
Yeah, and I would recommend that you guys check out some different places. So if you want the soft landing, hit Ishkailuma and then check out some other places. Live rural, live in town, live in San Joaquin, live in some of the gated communities. But check it out, because I thought, for me personally, that I would not like living in town, and now I live just on the outskirts of town in San Francisco, and it's great. It's the convenience of just being able to walk to town or ride bikes to town or take a quick taxi. I'm really enjoying living close to town, and I thought I wouldn't. So maybe if you think you wouldn't, test your expectations here.
What community need is not fulfilled that a small business could step into? I think there's probably a lot of things that would be successful here. A great sandwich shop.
Can we focus on the things we want?
That's kind of what I'm doing.
All right.
A great sandwich shop would be awesome. An A+ private school would be incredible.
Right. Can you just talk a little bit more about the sandwich shop? This is a critical point of the conversation, guys. Like A+ sandwich shop. We're not talking Subway. You're right. What what? So describe the deli you're speaking of here.
Well, sort of like an Italian. If I could get an Italian. If I get a deli that has the Italian Jewish deli, if it could be an Italian Jewish deli, oh, I would love that. We get the bagels and the pastrami and the salami and the Italian subs and the steak and cheese and all that kind of stuff. That would be amazing. But yeah, it would be very very easy really, and I think you'd have pretty good demand. The school would be awesome. There's a ton of demand for a great private school, which we don't have here currently. Community center I think could be really cool. I think you could combine that with a cafe and all kinds of other stuff and do something nice there. I think there's demand for, I think there's unfulfilled demand, and the restaurant business is a very hard business, but I think there's unfulfilled demand because there's tons of restaurants here too. Like the ratio of restaurants to population is high in this town, but I think there's I think that one of the restaurants that, first of all, if you have sort of ethnic food that we don't have, those restaurants tend to do very well if they're good. But I think a truly healthy restaurant, we don't really have we have healthy restaurants for sure, and we have restaurants where there's healthy options, but we don't have like a deeply organic, like truly healthy restaurant, and a lot of people here care deeply about their health. So I think that could be an interesting option. There was like a natural ice cream shop here a while back that did great and then closed down for other reasons, but I think maybe even a delivery service, that doesn't exist. There's probably a lot.
It does.
You can get a taxi.
That kind of exists.
Oh.
But I mean, even like some of the boutique businesses. So because the expat population here is denser than other parts of Ecuador, there's demand for certain types of products that aren't made here and that aren't crafted here. So it's more of a lifestyle business for some of those. But some of those boutique, craft businesses, the demand's here to support a lifestyle here. You're not becoming a multi-millionaire, but if you want a lifestyle, you want a reason to get here, you work hard in those boutique businesses, you can have a comfortable lifestyle here.
Yeah. Vegan ice cream. I wanted to open a vegan ice cream shop back in the days. There's not really any such thing actually here. And there's quite a few vegans, vegetarians who might not want to eat dairy ice cream. Also, that's a bigger investment, a bigger deal, but a nice modern gym would be very popular here. There is one gym in town, and bless their souls, they do their best, and it's nice, and that's where I work out a lot of times. But
the weights aren't heavy enough.
The weights are not heavy enough. It's kind of a mess in there. It's dark. It's not the best location. They have some rundown machines, and if there was like a really nice like high-end modern gym or a rec center, right, with like an indoor swimming pool or an outdoor swimming pool, and a few of those rec center type things. That would be very popular here.
Remember, Ryan had an idea for a electric bicycle rental.
That's a good idea.
I thought that was
That's
pretty
a really good idea.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, the bicycle shop in town has probably a couple bikes that he rents out, but like a more, actually a car rental business in Vilcabamba would do well.
I think that's coming. Yeah.
Okay, so that's coming already. So anyways, those are some ideas. And then, there's a few other things like a natural toothpaste, You can't really get, like a lot of times you buy it from the States and get it shipped here.
Mandala Verde does have that now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They make it here?
She makes it, yeah.
Nice, okay, well.
It's pretty good. It's not bad.
Okay, I haven't tried it. And there's other things that I'm sure we can think of. It's hard to find nutritional yeast here. You guys get it sometimes?
It's not.
What do you use nutritional yeast for?
Tastes good.
Okay, like sprinkle it on popcorn or something?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Our cats are crazy about nutritional yeast. Like if we add it to their food, they'll eat anything if it has nutritional yeast on it.
No kidding.
It's kind of weird, yeah. Huh. Where do you get yours?
Well, they sell it. My daughter loves it. She buys it all. But they sell, like Sonia's has it.
Sonia's Coconut Shop has it.
So what do you guys do with it?
Yeah, my daughter puts it on ice cream.
On ice cream.
Oh, ice cream.
Popcorn.
Okay.
It kind of has a cheesy flavor. If you don't eat cheese, you could be like a cheese replacement.
It tastes good on the popcorn. I like it.
Yeah. No, it's good on salads. It's good in soups. It's good in different things.
Hey guys, if you're liking this content, subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, give us a thumbs up. Give us some comments. If there are things where you're not liking our answers or you have a different opinion, Tell us why we're wrong. Tell us, you know, if you want to see, if you come down here, actually, how about this? We'll put a little contest out there, Carl. If we get 5 people that comment about the addicted gym, because then you'll do will you, if we get 5 people or 10 people, will you do a vlog in like a Dago working out because they're addicted to seeing you? Will you do that? And then if
What's
they
a
come,
Dago?
You don't know what a Dago is?
No, never.
They call those they probably
Tank
call
top?
them wife beaters in Canada.
Oh.
Is that you know tank top?
No,
Yes.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh
yes.
yeah.
Tank top.
Carl
ones
working
that Jesse
out.
wear.
The ones that Jesse wears. Yeah. He doesn't have one on today. But would you do that? If we get 10 people saying addicted gym, would you shoot a vlog in your tank top, and then spot if that person comes to Vilcabamba, you'll spot them in the gym one day?
All right, sounds good.
All
I'll do it
right.
for you, Brandon.
Thank
and
you. Thank you. That's
comments.
Right. It's not for me, just for the comments.
Mr. Jesse, please don't steal your bodyguard's coconut water.
Yeah, bro.
You're drinking 2 different coconuts.
No, you did that last time, huh?
I did it this time too.
And there's one. It's right here, actually.
Don't
And
touch
I'm not allowed to have it.
Don't touch my
I don't know if I'm
coconuts,
your
bro.
bodyguard, but that's what.
All right, we've probably gone long enough here. We'll get one more. Thank you for bringing up the fear-mongering. It's another form of bullying, not acceptable. You set a terrific example. Thank you, Stephen. We appreciate it. Uh-oh. Technical difficulty. Okay, we got interrupted. We're back. Where were we at here? I don't remember. Bullying. Carl's
What did you
bullying me
say?
again.
Yeah, no, the fear mongering.
Fear-mongering.
Yeah, no, this just the internet bully echo chamber fear mongering that exists everywhere in social media and TV and you name it, right? So,
oh, this is one I wanted to get to. Why is everyone always so sure about the cause of fires? Has every single person seen some, quote, farmer burning fields to assume that? Or is this something people hear from authorities and accept it? Oh, this gets very long, but
that's the gist.
yeah, that's the gist.
It's suggesting that potentially the fires here were not created
Not
by
that,
farmers,
right.
but they were created by some other.
Right,
Which we tried to
and
address
so
that.
we talked about the fires. This is in reference to some fire that we had a week or 2 ago, and I just want to say, so this is not a conspiracy, right? So micro scale, micro agriculture folks, which is like everyone that lives in this region, they burn fields every year around the same time,
right?
And those fires get out of control, and everybody here knows that.
And this time, everybody knows whose farms are where and whose properties where. I talked to 5 or 6 people. They know exactly whose farm it started.
They always know.
Someone put a denuncia, a legal lawsuit on the
yeah.
person who allegedly
Right,
started the fire.
right. So it's not.
Everyone knew, and you get a pretty hefty fine and even some jail time potentially.
Right.
Yeah.
There's crazy things going on in the world. But
This isn't that.
this is not
No, and it's
a
not
directed
and it's
energy
not,
weapon. In
nor
Ecuador.
is it climate change.
Right.
These are folks burning fields to get ready to plant for sure.
Yep.
Everyone knows it. There's no.
Yeah, and actually, it's not even just fields getting ready to plant. Some people burn the brush from the dry season.
Yep.
Whatever dry brush is there, it gets out of control. And you talk to some locals, and they'll tell you the grass grows much better after the mountains burn. Actually, it's for the cows to have some good fresh grass because all this brush is just taking all the energy. So
Well, and it returns minerals to the soil.
Returns minerals to the soil, and the grass comes back healthier, and the cows are happier when after a burn. Now, is it good? I mean, it could if it was kept under control, it'd be better. But there's a purpose to the burning, actually, at least according to the farmers.
All right, guys, I'm calling it. These comments never end. Thank you so much for commenting and tuning in. We really appreciate it, guys. If we can be of any help to you in any way, info@abecuador.com. Our website is abecuador.com. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and we'll talk to you.
We hope to see you here one day.
So until then,
see you next time.
ciao, guys.
Ciao, ciao.